Fighters battling Islamic State extremists in Syria and Iraq. Many of those on the front line use homemade weapons. So should the United States-led coalition carrying out airstrikes be providing better equipment to those fighting IS on the ground? I'm joined by the Kurdish rights campaigner, Mark Campbell. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Campbell. And no doubt you've seen our correspondent Stuart Ramsey's reports on some of those Kurdish fighters. And judging from the fighters he was with, they certainly do need better supplies and equipment.
Absolutely, Dermot. Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, the Kurds have been fighting the ISIS terrorists for the last 35 days, the YPG and YPJ fighters, and indeed before that, as your reporter said, for another 2 years before that, out of the media spotlight. I mean, there's not a group that should have the international spotlight like these amazing, incredible fighters who, unlike in Sinjar, when forces withdrew very quickly, these fighters are staying, they're resisting, they're there until the end. They will die there resisting ISIS. And yes, they do. They need heavy weapons. I mean, there was an airdrop, but we're hearing reports that there's no advanced or heavy weapons there. And they desperately need a humanitarian corridor that Turkey has refused to open. I mean, Turkey, we would make a huge appeal to Turkey to really change their anti-Kurdish policy, because Turkey have almost, well, seemed like they are supporting ISIS, and we have a lot of corroborative evidence that Turkey has been indeed training, arming, treating their fighters in hospitals. So we would call upon Turkey really to face up to the Kurdish question and have a, let's have a grown-up conversation about a political solution. Turkey needs a political solution to the Kurdish question within Turkey, and that should be extended to Rojava, to Kobane, to all the Rojava cantons. We cannot understand why Turkey is taking this anti-Kurdish position constantly, despite the Americans calling on them to join in the fight against ISIS.
Well, you know the Turkish analysis, and it is a complex situation for people from the outside to come to, isn't it? Because by no means are the Kurds unified, either in terms of the countries that they are coming from or the various branches. And we know that the Turks say that the PKK, that branch, are terrorists.
Well, that's what Turkey say, and that's what Turkey have been saying for the last 30 years. But the fact is that Turkey carried out a genocidal policy, a forced assimilation policy against the Kurdish people in Turkey, and the PKK are the ones who came to support the Kurds against that annihilation policy. They also came down from the mountains to protect the Kurdish people in Sinjar, which, just on a side point, there are reports coming from Sinjar Mountain again that ISIS, maybe in reaction to them being beaten in Kobane, are now surrounding Sinjar Mountain again, and it will be interesting to watch that development. But Turkey, let's change the policy, Turkey, come on. I mean, why? I mean, they need a political solution. The consequences of them continuing with this anti-Kurdish policy is not good for Turkey, it's not good for the future of Turkey, it's not good for the region. So we just appeal now to Turkey to just come to the table, negotiate with the Kurdish movement, and let's have a negotiated political settlement to the Kurdish question.
And can you see that taking place, through unifying to take on a common enemy in Islamic states, and then dealing with that broader issue, as you describe, a long-term, almost intractable issue of progress with the Kurds?
Well, I don't think that you can understand Kobane, really, without understanding the wider Kurdish issue, because Turkey have been carrying out this military policy against the Kurdish movement, because, as you say, the PKK are close, in many ways, to PYD and YPG. So, Turkey have been thinking that if they can militarily defeat the Kurdish forces in Rojava, then they will be in a weaker position if and ever. And who knows what their attitude is going to be to the Kurds in Turkey after this. We thought that Turkey wanted peace with the Kurds, but I think the whole world is now seeing differently, because Turkey seems to be taking a very anti-Kurdish policy, seem to be supporting ISIS, and Turkey really need to open up. Why won't they open up a humanitarian corridor to Kobane to allow essential humanitarian aid into that city that has suffered the most dreadful suffering over the last 35 days. At times the city has been, going to fall. Even ISIS are still sending in big suicide lorries exploding. It's ghastly, and really the pressure now needs to be on Turkey.
Okay, well, a lot more to discuss, but not time for it right now. Mark Campbell, thank you very much indeed. Very good to talk to you. Mark Campbell there from Kurdish Rights Campaigner. Now, still to